Yo, welcome to Diabolical Souls Presents X-Men 97 Episode 2 review. And I'm looking forward to this one. This one should be a really, really good episode. I'm really excited about doing this one. Of course, I got the crew with me. But before we get to them, I just want to quickly just mention to everyone, thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers. I can't, that's crazy talk. I never even thought I would ever reach that. That's just insane. I thank you all for subscribing and supporting the channel. And I have something planned in the future. I keep saying this. I'm going to have something for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So 10,000, I'm definitely doing something huge, hopefully. And please hit that like button, send me a comment, and please subscribe not only to this channel, but to these guys here, because all these guys here have awesome channels. Check them out. They have some great content. Greatly appreciate you all. As we dive into X-Men Episode 2, and who knows who else will join the panel tonight. Just saying. But yeah, tonight, let's dive into this. And Mr. Joe M. Sontag.
Yes.
He was in a band, everyone.
I was in a band.
He was in a band.
The most awesome band you'll ever hear.
What's up, buddy? How are you feeling tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Coming off the shows from last night where we did the Spawn review. Jay was on. We did Appreciating Comic Book Art Live. It was a fun comic block yesterday. And I am excited and ready to dive into episode 2 because I thought this is where the series really started to pick up, especially towards the end and the way that this episode ends. Fantastic, and sent you in the direction we knew we were gonna go. And the score, I said it before in the last episode, the score on this episode, especially at the end, was fantastic. Go back and watch it, everybody, and just listen to the score of this show. Is brilliant.
I need to I remember first seeing the scene when you posted on Twitter, but I didn't want to watch it in full, but I really like it. Like seeing it now.
Badger, my friend, my buddy, how are you doing after last week and the weekend and yesterday? Just a flurry of knowledge being laid upon these people that we kind of put up in the upper echelons. How are you?
Shout out. No, it's been a great while. Starting with getting to voice Joker for that danky The Killing Woke, and then Open Bar 99 where 24,000 people watch me and Star Wars Theory have a nerd fight. That was great. Which, hey, we should just get back to just playing nerd fights. And then shout out to Chris Gore going on his Versus series yesterday. So that was really great. So it's hard to top. The only thing that could top it possibly would be maybe talking to someone that rhymes with mayo, which I always love to put on sandwiches personally. I don't know about you, but it's my prime thing. No, very happy to be here. Like I said, I went through a journey on X-Men 97 from being ready to be hurt to being triggered to, wow, this might be not what I thought, to really just being happy that we got what we got and wanting more. So had a whole journey and I'm glad to talk about it.
Hell yeah. That was awesome, bro. That was it was really cool to see you guys debate on drinkers. That was really awesome.
I'm glad, bro. Glad you liked it.
Andrew, what's up, buddy? How are you feeling? How you doing?
I am doing good. Yep. Watch the episode. Good episode.
Sorry.
I don't want to say anything because if I say something, then I'm gonna start talking about the episode.
Oh, okay. So just go on to the next
spoilers, bro. Spoilers.
Yes. Vaughn, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing really well. I'm enjoying. I was at Heroes Con, so I actually got to briefly talk to Chris Claremont this weekend, which was fun. And I hung out with his son a bit at a con, and then I finally got to watch the episode. I came back from work and I was like, okay, I got this much time. I'm eating. I'm gonna watch it, and I was just like, man, this was good, because I remember seeing this on Twitter and I had put off watching it for so long, and I kept thinking as I was watching, I was like, okay, I got a question for that. And just seeing all these comic book bits coming to life on screen is really nice. But yeah, I'm doing well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And Sammy, how are you doing, brother?
I was particularly pleased with this episode.
Are we doing it now? We're doing it now,
We're
bub.
we're doing. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I know where I stand
let's
with
go.
Patrick.
Yeah.
All right, rip out his bones.
I know.
Do it.
Yeah.
Beat that. Well, the metal. Then we have a bone fight when I heal.
Yeah.
Oh, phrasing, Patrick.
Giggity.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Here.
Dude, I don't want to have a bone fight. No,
Oh, we're gonna have to put this on another website. Holy.
I'm so excited to talk to this, talk about this episode with all you guys. And I think, honestly, I'll say this right out of the gate. I think this is an S tier episode, no matter what animation we're watching. I think this is one of the best things I've ever seen. We'll get into why, but I'm so ready to go. Like, I am so pumped. Like, you know what?
You got a
Gooch,
Superman
usually
curl.
you have awesome intros. Like, this is where that like rock and roll intro comes into play, baby. This is what we play for, boys. Let's do it.
Mhm.
Rewatching this episode, I've watched this episode for the fifth
I
time.
will
This is
slap you in the mouth.
This is my like fifth time watching this episode. This is my most watched episode of the show. And I like when Magneto starts like spitting at the end of the episode, I stand up every time. I'm like,
oh
"Bruh."
no, I thought you were
me
saying
up,
you
dude.
didn't like it. I
Do
respect
not.
that.
Yeah, it was no. Do
Uh,
not. I like that line. I remember even again seeing it on Twitter. It was like, "Do not make me let you down."
Yeah,
Yes.
come on.
Okay, hold on.
Ah!
You guys are. You're.
Sorry,
I
sorry.
said
Spoilers, spoilers.
That was the worst
You
thing
gotta
I
learn to
said.
edge better. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Going our loader.
Now I want to point out that
Yeah,
I'm glad
yeah.
that this didn't tie into Secret Wars 2 like the comic, which is the worst crossover event probably of all time.
Which one?
Secret Wars 2, which is the most
Oh, yeah.
garbage.
Oh,
crossover
yeah.
There was a
event.
Secret Wars 2.
We don't.
Yeah, it
don't
was-
worry
We don't
about
talk
it, man.
about
Yeah.
that. Don't-
Yeah,
we
we
don't
don't.
talk.
It's like Civil War 2. We don't talk
Nope.
about it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Civil War doesn't come close to how bad the Secret Wars 2 is. Promise you.
I agree. I do agree.
it's really
It's not-
bad, man. Like it's
So,
really
we usually have Zack put something out at the end of the night. He sits there and draws a character or characters. He's doing something. I think everyone will be blown away by what he's doing tonight. This is like, I think this is going to be one of his best. This one's really, really, really good.
It's
He's
not
sweating.
Like literally, I'm like sweating. Like for everybody's.
I'm like
Yeah.
2
I'm,
inches away
fucking
from my screen trying to
sweating.
figure out what he's goddamn drawn over there.
Yeah, this one. There's going to be a lot of people wanting this one. Put it this way: there's going to be a lot of people lining up for this one. So,
Listen,
Zach,
my
how are you
money's still
doing?
on it.
And
Uh,
how far are you into inking?
I'm just chiseling away. I'm like hyper focused. But outside of that, man, I am like, I'm freaking ready to go, dude. This show, I finished the show. The whole thing is beautiful. I mean, not only just the animation, but I mean, it's like I'm a fucking kid again, dude. The amount of comic lore, source material that is implemented into this show astounds me. I could literally point out number issues back to back to back. And it puts a unique twist on it, and it doesn't divert too far away where it doesn't become distasteful. It is gorgeous, and I got super inspired. So this drawing, I'm giving this one 1,001%, and I'm sweating, because I'm like all in this right now, the full of nervousness. I don't want to disappoint anybody, so let's go get in. Let's dive head into it. I'm ready.
And Zach's my brother, or my fellow Winnipegger. How's it going, brother?
Hey guys, when I said 5 minutes, that's Canadian. So it's actually
Totally.
closer to 10 minutes. It
Yeah,
works
it's
different
11
than the
minutes
dollar.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hold on a second. Bo, I'll untie you if you come on the show.
That's crazy, Con.
All right then.
Don't threaten people with good times.
That's right.
How you feeling, brother?
Good. Bo's wore me out, but otherwise I'm feeling good. Happy to be here.
What?
Excited. What?
What's going on?
That's
It's June. It's June.
Secrets are going on. This is the whole X-Men vibe going on right
Oh,
now.
That's right.
Coming out.
All
Yeah.
the time. Yeah.
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Excited to be here. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to quickly say hello to everyone in the chat. We couldn't do this without you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Mama Badger being number one in the chat. Thank you, Mama Badger, for joining us. Mama Badger. We got Edwin. What's up, Edwin? Hail peeps. Thanks for joining us, Edwin.
Thanks.
Also, Watami, one of the OGs here. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Jamma, another one of the OGs. Yo. Thanks, Jamma, for joining. And again, Racerhead's here. Hello there. Thanks for joining Racerhead. Lord Toxic's in the house. Hey, Lord Toxic. Hell yeah, X-Men Assemble. Thanks, Toxic. I appreciate you coming on here, brother. I'll hopefully get you on one of these days. Scrolling down, we got Hojo in the house. Hail, my friends. Enjoying
What's up,
the
Hojo?
streams. Thanks, Hojo. Appreciate that. That guy grinds. That's a grind. He grinds big time to sell those books, and they're good books. Jana's in the house. Up, boners. Jana, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Scrolling down. Right now we have 48 people watching. Appreciate everyone watching right now. We'll probably get a flood of people coming in, usually in the around the 20-minute
people
mark.
Still streaming right now. Yeah.
Miss Sassy Sasquatch, you're the best. Hey, cartoon nerds. She's got a 1-month membership. I appreciate that. Thank you so much there, Sassy. And go check out her channel as well. She's got a great channel. She does some great conversations, especially by herself. That's crazy. That well, Badger does his stuff by himself, but their videos live is a little different. Though,
Still talk to myself plenty and more than probably is healthy, but yeah.
Matt Barr's in the house. Some of the best Cyclops power usage.
What's up,
Absolutely.
man?
What's up, Matty?
By the way, you pronounce my last name Sontag. Sontag. Just throwing it out there.
Who said it wrong?
AJ's in the house. What up?
If you know, you know.
Yes.
Okay.
You know. IGP's in the house.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, IGP. Eraserhead, 2 monthly memberships. Congrats on 10K, Gooch. This episode got me hooked. Yes. Thanks for joining the memberships again. They're Razorhead. I greatly appreciate that a ton.
Get to 11K by the end of the show. You're rocketing as we speak, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. Like the YouTube's got this thing with me. Like it's I'm down, then I'm up, and then when I'm up, I'm really got there. And so
It's called refractory phase.
Yeah. And Alex VRB, Joe M. Too Soon Tag. Thanks for joining us. Is this the episode where Batman gets abducted by Darth Vader and the X-Men enlist the help of Enterprise to back them out?
No, but that's a comment for most modern review pages to get around the AI algorithm.
Cage and Corey, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining us. Gooch. All right. Yeah, we're starting to get a flood of people coming in. So let's get into this, eh? You see how I did that? Canadian A?
Oh, man.
A
A?
All right. Here we go.
Violently
Popcorn
Canadian.
ready.
All right. Get your popcorn ready. This is going to be a heavy episode. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot so people that are watching the comic book references that Bo and some of the writers used, well, mostly Bo, is the Uncanny X-Men, Chris Claremont stories, X-Men 185, 200, and 201. So you're getting the Trial of Magneto. 185 is Public Enemy, and 201 is Duel, I think it's called.
Yeah, which we don't see that Duel, but we do see a first appearance from that issue.
Also a good movie.
Yeah. Yes. And Trey Johnson, thanks for joining us. Made it just in time. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. So yeah, let's get into this. When we start off and we see they're at Coney Island. You see the Ferris wheel. It's starting to collapse. There's a little kid in one of the little what do you call
I've been waiting for this.
Little carriers here. Female firefighter climbs up to rescue the child. And
fire person.
Yeah. What?
Oh, eat shit. Firefighter. Yeah.
Fire person.
And as it's collapsing and the reporter is reporting the news live, it starts to collapse on this reporter right here. And all of a sudden it just kind of stops in midair, and it's Magneto. And the reporter said, "Oh, saving humans," like in shock that he's actually saving humans.
Well, yeah,
And
they
he-
should be because
Yeah.
Magneto.
And,
Yes.
and
And
he's in his drag costume, his drag uniform.
The new one.
Yeah.
It's one of the rare times where I was like,
Which,
oh,
by
that
the way,
is
it is
accurate.
comic accurate.
but
Oh,
Yeah.
100%
It is
comic
very-
accurate. Yeah.
You know
that's a
what's-
translation?
I love the
Yeah,
new
just-
suit. All y'all are haters. Stay
Yeah.
mad. New suit is better than old suit.
You know
Oh,
what's-
no, no, no.
No, no,
That's a hot
no,
take.
no.
Andrew's
That's a bad.
New
dancing
one is
around.
better. I'm
listening-
sorry. I don't
Andrew's
like the old
dancing
one.
around listening to like what's the song from
You cannot like the old one. That does not make this new one better.
Yeah, no,
it's
No,
New
just
one
not.
is so cool.
Oh, he's like, I want
No,
gloves
it's
up
not.
to my
Oh,
shoulders.
yeah. What he's going out to
Let's
dinner
have,
in the
hey, I don't know if you
1930s?
guys know. I'm Magneto. Let's make sure I have a giant M, just to make sure you know.
It
that my
looks
name's
cool,
Vaughn.
dude.
Oh, you didn't know?
Big M. The big
Glows
M
at
agenda,
night.
Here's the
ladies and
thing.
gentlemen.
Keeps him
It's
safe from
real.
jogging.
I've come around on it, and like I appreciate it because it's like emblematic of this era of Magneto. Because I guess he needed a new costume. But even then, when I was reading that New Mutants issue where he pops up, I'm like, dude, that looks so tacky, man. Like, what is?
Tacky's what you
what do you
thought?
I didn't mind it in the comics.
I did. That was
The look
stupid.
in the comics was fine. For
I
some
think
reason,
it
the
looks
look
fine
in the
comics
in the
as well.
series, yeah, it just for some reason didn't translate to me to the series. Although I started to get used to it as the series progressed, but nothing just beats the classic red and purple, man. I just nothing.
I
beats
agree.
it.
Yep.
I'm the design of this Magneto outfit. Is that Ramita Jr. that designed that?
Yes.
Yes,
Good
I think he's
call.
very hit or miss with the character designs. I think that this one is not as
He's-
great as.
He's
I would
very
point out this
mid.
is the criticisms that we used to have, and I love that this is what we're going on. I was like, I didn't like the costume they chose. I wish they had chose a different costume. Good shit. The good stuff.
No,
the good stuff.
That's true.
It's right for what they're doing. It's just
I wish
when
they
I
just continued
when I
that
saw
cloth
it,
all the
and
way up.
honestly, when I saw it in the comic books, I think I was with you guys. I thought it was sweet, but like when you see it translated to live action, and he's like,
I think you guys are
start-
coping. It was always bad, even in the comics. But I would have adapted. I'm glad they adapted it faithfully. Like
Vaughn,
I think it should have.
See?
Vaughn.
Can't win with us.
stop.
Hey, man.
Quickly-
talking.
Quickly, I want to say a shout out to Cannoli. Thanks for joining us, Cannoli, and thank you so much for the 4 months being a member of Diabolical Souls. Look at the beautiful gay panel. Warms up my pants. There you go.
I do
thanks,
miss the
Cannoli.
helmet though. For his new costume, I missed the.
Yeah, you know what?
yeah.
If he had like a black helmet, like reflect,
dark
like
purple or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
that
I
Dude,
would-
he's gotta show off those locks, bro.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
locks
Yeah,
are
you
good,
guys,
man.
like, I
I'm
gotta
not
go
gonna lie.
against you here on this one because, like, he's
No,
got
come on.
what's kind of sweet to me. He's like a daddy. He's got his, he's got his shoulders out,
he's
and
very
he's kind of
zesty.
showing
No
off, and
one's
he's
denying
got his
that.
flowing locks, and like he's obviously the best looking guy in the show, right?
Yeah.
Like all the ladies want him, and maybe some of the
Definitely has some
dudes
damn
too,
good hair.
and that's fine. That it's
dare you.
2024. We can
Yeah.
do that shit. It's fine.
Gambit
Well,
look
chopped
how
liver
pissed
to you.
Cyclops is.
Hold on, I think
He's
I
like,
think
oh
the
my
Yeah,
God,
get outta here,
Magneto,
got a new
Cyclops.
the
costume.
Magneto helmet is one of the coolest character designs. That being said, like I said, I'm glad they translated this outfit, and I think the whole point is he removes that helmet and when he puts it back on. That's
I
when
know that's the point. I'm just saying.
yeah,
I miss
we
it.
know.
Just
Yeah.
fucking. Oh, is that what that meant?
I
Symbol.
know.
What's symbolism?
Well,
Right.
getting into this, because this is not the topic I thought we'd be discussing tonight, but
It is the
here we
topic
go.
Now it is the entirety of the episode.
Oh my god.
I feel like
rating
I should be
Magneto's
saying-
drip.
Oh, he
Why?
changed it, Andrew.
Yeah,
you son
yeah.
of a bitch.
Yeah.
Speaking of the drip check,
I feel
He
like
can
I should be
use his
saying,
powers too. Like he can do whatever he wants, pretty much all the time, and he makes it look so easy. So
I feel triggered.
yeah,
Yeah.
Should.
I will say that before we move on. In this episode, you understand what an Omega threat is. They said an Omega threat in the last episode, and then like when Magneto loses his temper, you see what an Omega level mutant can do, and that's by far that was really refreshing to see, and I thought that was beautifully done. I can't imagine something better. Like this was the episode where I know we're only one in, but this was the one where I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is what I've been waiting for.
An Omega level mutant is not something to shy away from.
No,
No,
it's
no.
not, but it's also like this is the attention, the care that I hoped that this series was going to get, and by God, we got it. We got it, boys.
Yeah, this is what turned the
did
tide
it.
for me. Like I said, I wasn't overly impressed with number 1, but it gave me enough, hope that I came back for episode 2. And it was this episode that really turned the tide to me. To I was just like, yeah, like this is going to be good, and it was all because of the end when we get there. And we'll talk about it when we get there. But this was the episode that really got me excited about the series.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like episode 1, and I've said this in a couple other streams. Like Rogue's voice sounds like she sounds like Dolly Parton.
A little bit,
but
Like it gets time to warm up.
But it gets
was fine.
Yeah,
I want to bone
throughout
her
the
too.
series. It gets better throughout the series. But yeah, episode 1, I didn't know how they're going to go about this series. I was kind of leery a little bit, and then episode 2 is like, yep, this is going to be solid. Because the writing showed in this episode here, and again, Bo pulling pieces and chunks predominantly from 3 books, Chris Claremont books, and putting a twist on it because they're not exact.
Yes.
And he puts it in a way that I think it actually works better.
Well, and I'll just remind everyone that I'm the normie here. I don't know anything about X-Men comics. The only reason I like the X-Men is because of those the cartoons when I was a kid. I didn't know any of the comics they were pulling from then, and I know any of the comics I'm a DC dude, so I have the same frame of reference then as I do now. I'm just older, but yeah. So it's good that you guys we got a balance of people that know exactly where he pulled from and people that are just seeing it as adapted. So thankfully nothing is ruined for me, like with everything else where I know where it all comes from. I'm seeing it fresh as he intended.
No, Bo did. He because I just reread 185, 200, and 201 2 or 3 times over the weekend, and I'm like, oh wow, he really changed this up, but in a way that fits a lot smoother than the way Claremont did it. I think Claremont got in his own. Well, I think he got in his own way a little bit there. But it still works. But I think he was putting a little too much, before he even got started. So that's my opinion on it. It's still really good, but I like the way Bo does it. It's really smooth, especially for an animation. Well, you think it would be worse.
Should we? I don't know how early we wanted to mention this, but should we kind of like compare and or even just a general background of where because they're kind of at different places when this event comes on. Also, the Friends of Humanity, because I assume they're like in the 90s characters, right?
Yeah, they were pretty prevalent in the actual cartoon.
Okay, because they were not the villains for this in the comic. I feel like they're kind of, and I think that was fun. That was one of the points. I think I don't know if I made it in episode 1 when we talked about it, but was that they're serviceable because they're just kind of meant to be basically just like blind thugs for our humans to take out. Although I did think that one guy was kind of cool, but in the comics, actually, I am kind of starting to wonder because the Von Strucker twins I thought were really cool showing up for the trial of Magneto because they were evidence of his past crimes. Well, I mean, even though the dad did deserve it, like Baron Von Strucker absolutely to die. It's still like it's kind of like his past coming back to him, and so that was missing, but there was new stuff added, and so I think both versions still maintain value, and that's kind of the way where I don't think they in any way messed up the trial of Magneto. Again, I haven't had time to really think about it, but there is things that I'm like, oh, that was done differently. Also, the Storm getting shot, that was not at the trial of Magneto, but I understand why they put it here because I thought it was.
No, I agree, Vaughn. I think what they did, I liked what they did in the comic, but I think for the show, I think this is stronger.
Yeah.
And Graph Web, thank you so much for fuss sake.
May I? For
Yes.
fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus. All right, thank you, Graph Web.
The power of many.
Power of
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Oh my God.
can you
Thank you so much
imagine?
for the $2. I appreciate that a ton.
Get Filoni on here. Let's have another conversation.
Yeah, let's get him in
Mr.
stupid
Gooch.
cowboy hat.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
So yeah, getting back to this, like we see Cyclops watching the TV and he's getting upset, and then he just kind of turns to Jean. He goes, I don't get it, Jean. Did the professor not trust me? And then the conversation starts with these two about Magneto and what Professor X wanted to do, like in his will, and then
She
Jean
basically
starts talking.
says, like, the best interpretation, right? Maybe he just wants us to have a nice life, not worry about, which is sort of what it was, but
basically in a nutshell, like, and they're talking about wanting to raise a family, and he's like wondering who's going to lead the team, and he feels like he should be a part of it. And then we get to this part right here where we see the Friends of Humanity building weapon tech to go up against the mutants, which is Carl, what's his name? Denty is the actual name of the character, the executioner character. Yeah, Carl Denty. And then we get to this part right here where Magneto goes into like the sewer systems, and he releases all these mutants that were,
the
chained up.
I was gonna say, I remember them, like the Morlocks, right? I was like, the kid. I remember them specifically as a kid because, like, Leech.
He looks like
you feel
Sonya.
bad for him. Leech is scared.
Does Leech speak in the third person?
Leech,
I think so,
I remember him speaking. Leech doesn't wish to hurt anyone.
Let's
You know,
see.
like
No, he does. He does.
You know what? And this immediately made me think. I don't know where they go, but immediately I was like, well, this is kind of a more mature show. I would love to see Bo de Mayoteco Mutant Massacre.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was nuts.
It could be on the agenda. We
By
never
the way, I do
know.
appreciate the diversity right here.
You guys, Gooch doesn't mind talking third person. I don't know what the problem is, because Gooch has no problem with it. So, yeah.
Oh.
So,
Might have to try.
yeah. So yeah, we see Magneto come down here, and you see him start to lose his patience a little bit, but still retain that composure.
Old habits.
Yeah.
Die hard.
Which I think which goes, it makes him even like stronger, because like it's a like controlled bitch slap, like even right here with loudmouth
Karen,
what's her face, and then he just slaps her right there with like the muzzle at the end. Yeah, he gives you the slap. He's like, little lash, you can't talk no more.
Yeah.
And like, and they even have that like great sound effect too. It sounds like there's a little bit of a clang when it hits her mouth, and I was just like, yes, this is what I want to see.
Hit her.
That reminded me of like Beetlejuice. If anyone remembers that reference there at the end of the movie. But this, I like how the beginning of this episode starts, and you're really trying to focus heavily on Magneto, showing how he is trying to legitimately respect Xavier's wishes and turn from being the villain, this guy that he was, and maybe just over the top, I guess you could say, with his actions, and really trying to be more of the hero. And it was just, it was a struggle for him, but he was overcoming it, and at the same time, he's trying to prove to the rest of the X-Men and to the entire world that he is a changed character. I thought it was the arc in the first half of this episode, just with that, I thought was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Professor Xavier wants him to be a better man. He's doing it for a while.
What are your thoughts about the animation in this episode?
Bangers.
Do you guys notice anything?
I think it's stronger than the first episode, but I think like I said with the first episode compared to the original series, I think the colors pop a lot more. I know you can't exactly match what it is, but if you look at the Morlocks here, like, I recognize who all those characters are. I remember, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So it's not like I don't understand what's going on.
He picked like the main ones that
I
he
like
knew
it.
would trigger memories.
Yeah.
You know, in retrospect, I think I like it a little bit better, and it's cleaner, and the colors pop a lot more, and like, especially I've noticed it a lot more, especially going back to the original series. In the use of power, I see like quite a bit of difference, and I think it's the color scale makes everything pop a little bit more. Do I think things look a little streamlined? Yes, I do, but also you're in a different age of animation. You're not going to get like the same type of
roughness.
The roughness, the same aesthetic, but if this is what we're going for, if I didn't like it in the first episode, I totally like it by this episode.
I can't tell if it grew on me or it was getting better because they were doing it better.
No, and that's maybe a great point, Badger. I don't know if it's the amount of stuff that they're covering that makes it better, or if it's the animation style that I like more, but I know that I like it more because I think I think the cleaner, more streamlined look makes it easier to cover more ground, and it also makes it easier to convey what's going on. So like the same thing that just happened with Magneto, like if you did that with the old series, that I don't think it would have looked as good. Like I really don't. Even though it might have been a little bit more detailed, the speed and like I keep going back to the colors. I don't think they would have popped the way that this animation style conveys all of what's being told to you. And you know what? God bless Bo DeMeo. Hashtag bring back Bo DeMeo. He's bringing a lot to you at once.
We got to
all of them, all the
rehires.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm curious what your thoughts on, because there's a big difference between number. I think the first one was a pilot test, and I think this is where they actually got
the
down
first
to.
one felt a lot like a pilot episode.
Yeah,
like that you would run by a bunch of people to say, hey, does this look like you like it? Is this the product that you want? And then episode 1 feels very different from the rest of the show. It feels like both in how it's written and its animation.
Yeah, I think it's really solid. I think I like, who are the other two mutants? Because I know it's Callisto, Leech. The older woman looks familiar. Who is she?
I was thinking that too.
The Mohawk does not look familiar, but this one does. Her. I'm trying to think. I know she's someone from the comics.
That's Skeeter from.
I just remember Callisto and Leech.
Yeah, I remember Eye Patch and Leech basically, and because the long elongated this part.
I think this episode, you see the animation for what it's supposed to be, and moving forward you see a smoother transition rate. The first one was kind of had that jerkiness a little bit at certain spots. This one was a lot smoother episode, and again, like Sammy mentioned it, the colors were a lot better, like very vibrant, and they make the characters your focal points. You know, like the like Leech is like you're drawn to him right away because of the colors. So so moving forward with this episode, because we got to move forward here because there's a lot that we want to get into. As Magneto talks to Leech, mentioning this. I promise you, child, you shall never be afraid again. And so we get
foreshadowing.
Is Erg.
What's that?
Mohawk is named Erg.
Erg? Okay.
Yeah. Believe it or not. ERG.
And what you just said,
how could
Jay,
we have forgotten Erg?
Right.
Yeah.
And what you just said, Jay, the fact that Magneto promised this mutant that he'll never have to worry again. Magneto is the type of character, he doesn't do that. He doesn't, and when he makes his promises, if he does, he always follows true for he puts his best foot forward on that.
Yes.
And watching this again, I realized, oh yeah, that was a super important line that
Yep.
later on gets. This is good writing. It's callbacking. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
this is my main gripe. Still, is I don't think Wolverine sounds right.
Hey, bub.
No.
You know what? If this was like series 1, I would agree with you. But now that after watching series 1 and seeing this, I don't know if I could, like, for the animation, I don't know if I want another voice, because it's like when I think of Wolverine, I think of the original series, and so
But he
I don't
doesn't
mind
sound
it.
like he does in the original series.
Well, yeah, but none of them
I mean, he
really
sounds pretty
do.
damn close.
He sounds really damn close. Yeah,
I don't think he does. He's using a lower register in the first one
All right,
that I
nerd.
enjoyed. Well, whatever. I'm just saying that it's the one that, okay, well, you look at Hank McCoy, he sounds exactly like he did in the original series. Magneto and Wolverine are the two characters that draw me out of this when I go back to the nostalgia factor. They don't sound like their characters in the original series, and I know you can't do that with Magneto because but I know that this is the original actor for Wolverine, and I feel like he just didn't do his homework on this and figure out how he sounded. I know it's not a big thing to gripe on, but like every time I hear Logan talk, it pisses me off.
Well, that's also not just him. That's where's the voice director, where's there's Gas Bo when it comes on,
Don't
whoever
care.
comes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's voices change with age, and is that a
That's what I was
conscious
gonna
choice?
say.
Or
Yeah.
could he really not go low, and so he had to go higher? Like, could he just not do it anymore?
Okay, there's a difference between someone going like, hey, yeah, I'll take you to the hospital, and you don't know him.
Yeah,
Like, and
yeah, and
there
just
was
go
more.
completely higher. Yeah,
I think it was Wolverine was put in an interesting spot. Why in this episode? Like the fact that I think it was interesting. Well, I guess we'll get to it later.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
This part right here, this quote that the Beast or Hank McCoy mentions, like the only safe and sure way to destroy your enemy
Is to make him your
is to
friend.
make him your friend.
Yeah.
Mark Twain. I thought that was a really cool quote to add in there, as the team kind of talk about Magneto and Gambit, who we're going to touch on throughout the episode, and there's one spot we're really going to talk about him. But yeah, like they're talking about Magneto, what to do with him, and Rogue is saying like, everyone has a past. We should, just accept this for who we are now. Because people,
how much you spit on it.
Yeah, well, because people don't realize, if you're not a fan of the books, if you've not read the books, she was raised by Mystique. She was Mystique. That was like her
and Destiny.
And she was part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
I knew that only because of the Captain Marvel stealing back in the day, and
the Carol Danvers, which that's how she got her powers. So, Star Wars purist, Beast has all kinds of cool lines throughout the show. He does. A very underrated character in the series. I actually appreciate Beast after watching this episode too. Like, he's just a cool character. So Magneto's talking about taking the mutants, moving them to the nation of Genosha, making it a safe haven. And as they're talking, this conversation's going around. Scott Summers is trying to swing a big stick, and Gene is just like, enough, Scott. So he, like a simp, he backs down a little bit, and then
all right.
I'm gonna call you out on this. I think
he was based.
I think he's going.
I knew you guys would jump on the bait. Like, I just like
all right,
throw it out there. You guys bite.
Taking the bait.
What did Wolverine do this episode? Sure, honey, I'll drive.
Okay.
All right. I don't like that either, Vaughn.
Okay. Anyway,
but no, I will say that I would, as someone who's been a leader of this team, since he was a teenager, be a little bit skeptic of the guy that you've been fighting for, I don't know, 10 years, and then have him come in and go, hey, Charles Xavier gave me everything. Okay, Charles Xavier is gone. I'm the leader of this team.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what you say. And you know what? They go about discussing it later, but it was like, yeah, he has to earn his trust around here.
Oh, hey,
What's up,
Joker.
Joker.
Yeah.
buddy. Appreciate you, Joker.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I think Cyclops was totally on point.
Yeah, me too.
He is until Jean says that's enough. You remember what the will says. There's
Well,
Well,
she is the
and then
voice
he's
of
like,
wife.
oh,
You know,
that's
like,
The
yeah,
episode was already
yeah,
30
what do I
minutes
do?
long.
Yeah. My wife
We
calls
gotta
me
have
down
a
all the time
debate.
when I get heated.
wow.
Yeah,
So yeah, and then you got Magneto being that calm, cool, collected character. Trying to make things right with Scott Summers here, but there's
I
some
will
animosity between the two.
the scarf somehow makes the transvestite costume with the long gloves.
Dinner glove.
It somehow makes it
Evening
better.
glove.
I think Magneto just needs some function of a cape.
Does he not have a cape in this?
Yeah,
He doesn't have a
Like
cape on the costume. No, but he has
What?
a scarf.
I feel like
Oh,
it
then that's
attaches.
Yeah,
Cape. He has a
Um,
cape.
and
right?
he
Oh,
and
that
right
looks
here he
like it.
mentions Charles Xavier can make a mistake, and it wasn't a zing towards the team. It was actually just a comment that even he kind of realized that Xavier made some mistakes because he looked up
No.
like as we get further along he talks about Xavier and we'll get into it. But this moment between Jean and Storm, basically she's reflecting on her old Jean Grey costume and talking about wanting to raise a family and kind of alludes to wishing that the child is human just
Love
because
that
she
Marvel
doesn't
Girl
want to.
costume.
Wow.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying I love the Marvel Girl costume though.
Yeah, no, I
Real
did like
classic,
that, and also Vaughn, you're more of a comic book historian. She deliberately talks about she was taken over on like the dark side of the moon or the blue side of the moon
Mm-hmm.
by another cosmic entity. That's not the Phoenix, right? Like she's talking about a different thing.
X-Men issue 137, 136, and 135.
I knew one of my fellow nerds would get it.
Well, I get it. I just didn't think I needed to say issue numbers.
I'm in it on issue numbers too.
He goes, he's
Okay.
like, oh, my comic.
I was just making sure that she's not talking
All right,
about the Phoenix.
you know what? Let's just tug on our nutsacks and we'll, because the testosterone's getting a little high with our nerdisms here. So, getting back to this episode here, we see this moment, and this is actually in the comics. This moment between Aurora and Jean Grey.
Because in 2024, that line hits very different. You could have swapped that out with trans, gay, any sort of underrepresented group, prejudice, different. Different.
So it's not the Phoenix, right?
Well, let's let Jay finish. I feel bad. I started.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just don't know.
What are you talking about?
She says the last time I wore this costume, I was taken over by
the Phoenix.
It is the Phoenix. I don't recall her wearing that costume.
That's the Phoenix. Yes, it was the Phoenix. It's the infamous cover where her and Scott in the front cover.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
You're wrong. You lose.
Yeah. So so yeah, they're having a moment between the two, and Aurora's giving her the advice, kind of being that older sister, or I guess they're roughly the same age.
Sister.
And she even says sister. Okay, there you go. And then we get this. Okay, this is the moment I want to get to because this is really cool. Where Magneto is kind of reflecting on Xavier and missing Xavier here, and Rogue enters the room, and
oh yeah,
he talks about Charles always being in his mind, good or bad.
Is that movie canon, by the way? Because like the helmet is what keeps out, or is it?
No, it's up for debate, Badger. There's people who think it's his power because keep in mind Magneto is about as powerful as a mutant.
There's some sort of
gets.
electromagnetic shield or something that blocks the electric brain waves.
Yeah, he's
that's
an
how I would
omega.
explain it away.
Until you get to like reality warping and everything,
Yeah.
the movies really introduced the idea that it's the helmet.
All right, yeah, and I didn't know. I guess I did know they had a relationship, but this is definitely like, well, of course they're gonna cuck Gambit, but I understand now seeing bigger pictures.
I was just about to say,
yeah.
See, I never took it like that because of the relationship of Rogue and Magneto in the comics. So
I didn't take it that.
I just explained.
Yeah.
Also, can someone explain to me why Rogue can touch Magneto?
Something about
the barrier, electromagnetic barrier.
Yeah, I have a theory on this, and it's because he. I don't know if you guys are really up to date on things, but I just saw something go on with Magneto where his heart gets ripped out, and he was able to control his bloodstream without his heart because of the iron in his blood. Is he able to do something similar with Rogue's power?
Why not?
So it is the electromagnetic field. He just puts a slight barrier. So
I mean, he makes it very clear that he has total control over his body.
Yeah.
But
giggity.
Now, has that always been the case in the comics?
I don't think.
Because I thought when they had their fling, it was in the Savage Land.
Oh, okay.
And that they were able to touch them, but I'm not getting into spoilers. But we see
Joe,
something
can you
happen later on.
Explain to like layman people why it makes sense?
Like, just let him finish. Joe, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, not to get into spoilers. There's, obviously an episode coming up where you kind of see an interaction between Rogue and Magneto, kind of sharing a kiss and whatnot. And so, and that's my thing was in the comics. I was just wondering because I thought when they had their kind of fling or whatever, it was in the Savage Land where all the powers in the Savage Land are.
Star Wars Marvel Pierce answered it. He answered it. He says it's the electromagnetic field, but then they retconned it after the movies.
Okay. Yeah. That would make sense. I got
you.
Retcon makes sense.
All I wanted you to do is explain why it's special in the Savage Land.
Oh yeah, because the Savage Land knocks out everybody's powers. So you're basically kind of human, or just
Did they say how?
Wait, it does?
Does it say how? I'm not sure.
I don't think so because they
use
the powers.
I'm fine with it being mystical. I just
I was say I don't know if I've ever actually known, to be honest with you.
Cool.
No, I always thought that was the thing in the Savage Land is
just no one knows why.
Oh, all right.
I'm sure somebody does. In the
I just remember Xavier being able to walk, and I never remember. I don't remember why. Like, oh, he can fucking walk. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Forge just thought of the technology to make him walk, and then he walked.
Also, guys, I'm gonna bounce out and bounce back in. I think I'm having a connection issue where I'm having a delay.
Okay. So yeah, this moment between Magneto and Rogue, alluding that they've had relations, and they did. And she's trying not to go back into the past, even though she's kind of being flirtatious with him.
They had
heavy relationship, especially in that new outfit, and she's like, "Oh, sleek," the hair is going.
Yeah,
she was a little smitten.
The other thing is, like in the books, he's reborn. So like he was.
Oh, is that how he's still alive?
Yeah, he was reborn as a youth. So like technically he would be like really old, like older. Like I think he's older than Xavier, but he gets he's reborn. So his age is technically in his 30s here.
Yeah.
Oh no shit. Okay.
Because it'd be weird to take away his background, and you need to be a kid during World War II for that.
Right.
So yeah.
But guys, it's important that he has his costume because how else would you know how to spell Magneto? Like the first letter could be anything.
That's true.
Yeah. The end is cool. I will not tolerate this.
All of our favorite heroes. Fucking Superman has an S on his chest.
Yeah.
That is not my problem. It's the shoulder exposure that makes it look sus to me for some reason. But look, Sammy, he does have a cape. He's got his scarf.
No, he has a scarf cape.
Yeah, he's got a scarf cape.
JR was drawing a lot of sus outfits in this era of X-Men. You guys remember that one issue where Professor X wakes up in like BDSM shit and they just don't address it? I swear this is like real. And then they also remember when Colossus had the like leather belt around his neck.
Yes.
That was the worst.
I remember that too. I also think I'm glad that it's comic book accurate, but also some things translate better. I remember last time we had Bo on, he talked about Goblin Queen and how like that costume would be impossible to basically animate because like a gust of wind could basically, like I said, I think I said it was more it was more showy than Vampirella's like costume. Like it
was pretty hot.
Yeah, so I think honestly it's just you have, if they just would have covered up his shoulder and the end of his tricep.
Magneto.
You need the tricep. You need it to be accurate.
I know, and that's actually, Vaughn, if you could put that closer to the camera, that's actually one of my favorite comics ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good thing we're in this episode.
But you know what? That's just above.
Notice how it's slightly lower.
There's a little bit more, you know.
Yeah,
interesting. It still doesn't look that great either, by the way.
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah, they're ever so slightly higher on this one.
I'm not trying to shit on this episode because I think it's one of the best episodes in the series. It just
I'm not a fan of John Romita Jr., but I respect the man. Like he's put out some killer work.
Fair enough.
For other people that like it, I hate what he did with the hair in these comics, especially with Rogue and what's her name, Rachel. Rachel's part of the series too. Rachel, and that's the other thing. Kitty Pryde, like we don't have Kitty Pryde in this. We don't have.
I will say, J.R. drew the best Kitty Pryde costume. Come on.
No.
Come on. Yes. Come on.
If anyone's interested, if you don't know the Goblin Queen costume, I dropped a reference down there, Jay.
Incredible.
Okay, let me. Okay.
Oh, well, I could take a look at the Goblin Queen right now. You know, I could.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't animate that.
Yeah, I would say the comic accurate.
That's what I said. That makes Vampirella look mild.
We could get this done. Let's make this happen. Comic accurate Magneto. All of a sudden, comic accuracy doesn't matter. Come on, let's do it. Let's do
it. The raggedy cloak and all the moving fabric. It's too much.
She uses tape, double-sided tape. That's what stops them from falling out when you're fighting.
Just say that Magneto's a fancy boy.
But it was still a good interpretation for what they could do in the comics, like the costume. I mean, we'll get there in the next episode.
I'll let him have it.
We'll get back to this.
Yeah, I will take everything I can get from this episode because when he has his helmet in his hand, when he puts it in his hand again, it's one of the most powerful things I've seen in animation.
Yeah.
You said that and it didn't sound cringy. It's one of the most powerful things I've seen in animation.
Because
I meant it. I know. That's why I said it didn't sound cringy.
All right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
This shot right here, which leads to Rogue kind of pushing away Magneto. Then we get to this part where Valerie Cooper, Vanessa, what's her name?
Valerie Cooper, you were right.
Valerie Cooper shows up with the
great
government
scene.
And great scene. And she's like, no use Magneto. She wants to bring him in for all the stuff that he's done in the past.
I want to fly just to do that, just to hover above like a badass,
right?
Yeah, he is definitely
hold him accountable
here. Yeah, and he's just like, you think you got me because like the guns are plastic here, and
go ahead and finish what you're saying, Jay. I got something to say about this scene.
Yeah, and then he just like, you think you got me, and then he raises the helicopters and starts, bringing the helicopters towards them.
Like, really?
You don't have hope in hell against me. And then she's like, you need to go in for all the injustices that you've done against going to take you into the UN Commission of Superhuman Activities.
Fabulous hair
for a trial. And he's like, as long as it's a fair trial, I'll go in.
Yeah.
And should I successfully vindicate myself?
That's a dope move too. with the helicopter blade. Anytime a telekinesis, anyone uses that, is like, I'm just gonna kill you with a helicopter blade, rotor blades.
And this is what I was gonna say before you get past this scene, Jay. It was just you would think if they were smart enough to have plastic weapons that they could potentially kill Magneto with, they would have figured out how to somehow not transport themselves in a fucking metal helicopter that allows themselves to be vulnerable to his power.
Budget cuts. They only
you know,
they only had enough
helicopters,
for guns.
the loudest means of conveyance.
Parachute on in.
Well, here's the thing about this scene that I also like is him being the new leader of the X-Men. Notice how Jean Grey doesn't even make an attempt to like stop him with the helicopters. It's either she read his, it was either she either read his mind or she respected the fact that she can kind of give him a chance to see where he's gonna go forward with that. She just stands there, and which says a lot about how powerful Jean Grey is as a character.
Yeah, she doesn't get her shine in the original.
Stop simping for Jean Grey. And hello, John.
I don't like Jean Grey. I don't.
I don't like Jean Grey in the original series.
Jean Grey is a hoe. Come on, guys.
She is a hoe.
She is a hoe. Like
but there's nothing wrong with it. That's what I try to say. Like she's a hoe. Nothing wrong with being a hoe.
Yeah, I mean, you screw Jean Grey, you marry Madeline Pryor.
Yeah, they're perfect.
Yeah,
perfect way to say it.
I don't think that's all right.
Somewhere Kayla's heart is breaking.
Shut up, Vaughn. It's track.
So Magneto's willing to go in.
Nice
package
this
shot.
Is, by the
Could
way,
they have
Jay,
drawn a bigger package for
190.
Magneto? I mean, come on.
Even though it's only really in terms of Magneto's arrest, 196 is the issue where he gives in. If you remember.
Yeah.
But in the comics, the government was smart enough to send mutants to attack him. There was a whole fight, and then Magneto stops the X-Men.
Yes.
He's like, "No, let me go." And so I actually think the comic scene, in some ways, I understand we didn't need a whole elaborate action sequence, but I kind of feel like the fact that I guess it really shows that Magneto had just shown up and he hadn't proven to the X-Men, so they weren't willing to stand by him yet. So I understand why they had to recontextualize this.
Okay.
Okay, we're being rated.
I'm gonna go on.
Wait, Sammy, we're being rated. We're just being rated by Hypnotic. Thanks, guys. All you guys are awesome. All the Bigot Army, you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining in. Appreciate every one of you guys.
Bigots.
Thank you.
There be bigots among us.
Sonia, you're awesome. Sonia's the best. Thank you,
Sonia,
everyone jumping in. Appreciate every one of you. Oh, Moxie, what's going on, Moxie? Thanks for joining us. They're all jumping
over here calling her Sonia.
Look at this. Yeah, look at him come in.
Yeah. Thank you for the $5 super chat there, Adair Soto. Congratulations on this 10K. Thank you so much
Jax.
for the $5. I appreciate that a ton.
You're breathtaking.
Yeah, I am. It's all coming in here. I appreciate that, you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah. Look at that.
Holy
look
Jesus.
at them pour in.
Wow. Look at it. Look at you guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's almost like a guy with
thank you
almost
so much.
45,000 subs or over 45,000 subs just rated you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hypnotic, like that guy is the hardest working guy on YouTube to this day. That guy's killing it. He's a brother. I appreciate you, Hypnotic.
Shout out.
Smart man.
Yes, awesome dude.
Don't let him fool you with the bigotry. Very smart man.
So yeah, we have 129 watching right now. Appreciate all of you guys. And so let's continue. Gooch and 80s. Yeah, I appreciate that. Bio T Wolf, thank you so much. Congrats on 10K Bigot Army raid. Clapping your cheeks. Yes.
Nice.
Thank you so much for the $5.
Clap those cheeks.
Appreciate that time. Did I miss anybody? I haven't missed anyone, have I? No. Okay, good. You guys rock. This is why we do this, just to keep you guys entertained. Hopefully we keep you entertained. We're just talking X-Men 97 episode 2. This is a banger of an episode. So yeah, we're in here like in the comics. So like this part right here, we're seeing him at the UN headquarters for the trial of Magneto. This actually takes place in Paris in the books and book 200. And so originally it was supposed to be done in, I think they said Amsterdam was originally supposed to be taking place, and they wanted to do it in France for whatever reason in the book. And then you had the antagonist in that book was the
Von Strucker twins.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Venties, whatever they call it. Yeah,
Von Strucker.
The trials from the comics, I know that, but the location was changed.
Okay,
What's up, Lovett?
if I may, the biggest theme on this, and you will see it here, and it will be knocked down by the rest of the episode.
Right.
Is this episode is all about trust, and so it's about not trusting Magneto at all, and how Magneto gains that trust, whether it be with the X-Men, whether it be with the UN. And
No,
I mean,
Oh yeah,
I agree.
no, I'm Zaxx, you disagree? I mean,
no, it's just a pants-free stream. That's all I'm saying.
yeah,
Oh, hell yeah.
We're just reading the chats.
I never
hold
watched
Yeah, so going forward here, this is the part where we really get into the meat and potatoes. So in the book, Wolverine is actually with the team. He's with Kitty Pryde, Colossus,
Rogue,
Rachel
Summers,
yeah, and Jean Grey is the only one that stays back, and
Nightcrawler.
and she's upset that Scott's not talking to her. She even mentions in the book that he's ignoring her, like almost like purposely, and everyone else is like Nightcrawler, and everyone's contacting her, making phone calls, checking up on her. So they made Wolverine stay back on this episode, and so as they're watching the trial here, and I know you guys want to talk about this. You guys want to mention the January 6th insurrection.
Actually,
if
I could bring up something before, if any of that ever happens, so for a lot of the early part of the series, I didn't understand why they were putting Wolverine on the bench, so to speak. Like, he had some moments early on, but for the most part, he was always hanging back at the X Mansion and everything. And it made sense to me now that I've kind of seen the entire series. He was sticking around Jean, who was pregnant in a vulnerable state. And because of his feelings for Jean, he was there. Like, that was the place where he wanted to be. And I think that he was there specifically as a protector to this woman that he loved, and he wasn't going out on missions. They kind of, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but just something I saw and kind of recognized. And if it is, I mean, that's a cool aspect about showing his character as we see him in this series now.
I'd say it's pretty purposeful, because when she says Logan, he's coming, he's like, who? Right. Colossus? And he's like already ready to protect her or just fight somebody off.
Yep.
No, Apocalypse is what he said.
Oh yeah,
Apocalypse, yeah. It's a good joke that's also good for character building, which I like.
This is a very different Wolverine than what we're seeing in like the original series.
Which by design, I think they said that because
I agree,
too much or whatever,
and that's fine, and I'm here for it. And also, that's the way that you would have to do that, because Wolverine was very much one of the main focuses on the original series. It's a respectful way to draw that character back, but still let him, like, even on the way to the hospital, he lets you know that, like, he's cool, he doesn't care. And I was there for it. I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm glad that, like, guys like Cyclops are getting like the front seat on this, because like, we're getting something that we haven't gotten before in these cartoons. So why not? Let's go it and do it.
One of the biggest things, also too, is that he actually doesn't overstep his boundaries, even though he butts heads with Cyclops all the time, and he has a lot of feelings for Jean. He never oversteps his boundaries to make a move, and that says a lot on his character.
Oh, that was one of my main things in the original thing. Is is Cyclops
not cool
and Wolverine butt heads, But in this series, you understand that Wolverine has respect for Cyclops.
He probably
Like,
wants to win it the right way if he was ever to
Exactly.
actually.
It doesn't matter how it is, but it matters that Wolverine, no matter what, respects Cyclops, and I didn't see that in the original series.
And Gooch, sorry, I just want to say, yeah, you mentioned it because I mentioned it last time. Yes, if you don't know anything about the comics and you just watched this episode, you will see parallels with January 6th. It's undeniably there. If you've watched Security, there's footage of the crowd, blah, blah, blah. First of all, even if I was making this, I might do that just because I know it triggers people and gets their attention, invokes emotion, and that's what this is supposed to do. I'm sure we could talk about it later, but yeah, I don't think it was meant to attack any person. Now, I question when you say it was moved from one place and villains and switched to this, so there can really be no mistake that people would make that comparison. That being said, by the end of the episode, that doesn't matter at all, and it's all about what happens at the end of the episode. But I noticed it. I saw it. Pattern recognition.
Well, no, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's. I mean, they're parallel. Like the same things are happening. You know, like people are upset because of you know what happened at January 6th. Here, people are upset because of the way mutants are being treated or being mistreated, depending on if you're reading the book or watching the series, because people are headhunting mutants in this one here. They want mutants out of here. In the book, all these protesters are outside wanting to storm in, just like this series here. So if you didn't know the book, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Badger, that you would think, holy shit, they're hitting the marks and bringing January 6th into this series, which, I mean,
history's just
history.
I would just like to argue that people have had discourse since these comic books have been written. If it wasn't about that, it was about racism, it was about Vietnam, it was about the Cold War. People have had something to make signs about since these comic books have come to fruition, and I think that's one of the reasons that these comic books have really resonated with the culture, is because there has been something to stand up for.
And even Bo said there was that difference of like doing stuff that makes people think as opposed to telling people what to think.
Exactly.
It's a fine line, but it's there.
I'm totally
Bo when writing oh, you go ahead, Zach.
I was just saying, just totally spacing out very quick. What was January 6th? Because
it was, I think, Ukrainian Christmas.
It was the
Ukrainian Christmas is January 6th.
No,
Hanukkah, maybe Hanukkah.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We're not doing that.
So I should just look it up on my own time.
What I will say, people have been making signs for years.
100%.
All right.
Even
Didn't mean to try to make it awkward. My bad.
No worries.
Come on.
The one thing that
Jamma,
Bo,
to hear that, bud.
Bo said 2 weeks ago is that he said with what he did with Morph, he wanted to start conversation and have discussions about this type of unrequited love and the conversation about that. He didn't want to just say, oh, I want to have people think this certain way. Right.
Yeah.
Because he also admitted he might have read into that as a gay man, and that might have been his projection. So a lot of different ways you can come at it, which is good. That's what you want from art. That because a lot of people didn't even get any of the messaging he said, and he's had to double down since which we'll talk about at the time. But certain confessions that are made, they're like, "Oh, I didn't get that. That's what he was trying to say." And so, that's what art is. A lot of different interpretations.
And also for the reason why all this protest makes sense, quoting Magneto in this episode, you gave a monster a trial, now you're a traitor to your own kind.
Yes,
instead of just killing the monster, you gave him a fair trial.
Good line.
A lot of great lines
that could be applicable to modern day too if we wanted to read into it.
So this is where we get introduced to Carl Dente as executioner, which was a significant character throughout the X-Men comics.
I want more of him, dude.
Later, but I really like him.
So this is where the twist kind of happens, where the executioner is taking out using the gun that was developed by Forge, which I still don't understand why Forge was developing this gun with Valerie Cooper and what's her name there? They call her the Jewess. I don't know why they call her that, but in the
What?
books, yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
I don't.
I don't
yeah,
remember.
read the books.
The
Read the
Jewess.
book.
No,
I don't read,
believe
I'm
you, buddy.
illiterate.
I just don't remember that either.
Don't read after 18.
True. That's so true, dude.
Yeah, not very inspiring costumes.
No. So yeah, this character is the one that uses the gun developed by Forge, but he's developed a gun that will, knock out mutant powers. And so he's going in to take out Magneto. He's gonna,
So, because I haven't seen the rest of the series, but it's obviously revealed later on that Forge developed it in the comics.
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna assume that that's still the case and that it was taken.
They don't even touch on it later on.
What? How do you do life death without that?
Well, they're just introducing Forge, not even in this episode. So, like, everything is kind of what you know from the canon is going in and out of time.
Mm-hmm.
I've liked everything they've done. Just let them cook. So
Yeah, I'm under the same.
curious.
Like, don't get hung up
they
because they
explain it
touched
later.
on this
Yeah.
story arc or this story arc.
I can't. I was the same thing with like life after death, and like without going into spoilers, what happens with certain characters. And then even when we get to the last episode, I kept going, oh my God, they're doing this. Are they going to introduce this? And then it turned out to be an amalgam
Yeah,
of all those different things. So, I mean,
which I think is great.
I do.
It kept you kind of guessing. You're like, oh
because
shit, we're going.
As
this way.
someone who has read all of these things, it was new and it was fun and it was still very, very true to something that I grew up loving. And it wasn't the exact same, but like, I'm not begging for the exact same. I'm not looking for an adaptation that's going to do it mark for mark.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
looking for an adaptation that's going to have the heart of what I'm looking for, and that's what this is.
Yep.
So
I just want to quickly do a quick shout out. Rick Costa, thank you so much. For $2, he subscribed to all of you. Congrats on the 10K.
Oh, thank you so much.
God
I
bless you.
appreciate
man.
that, Rick. Thank you
That's
so much,
awesome.
man. Truly appreciate that.
What's up, Hypno?
thank you, Rick.
Is he in the house? There you go. There's the man.
This shot is so
Hypno.
cool.
Yes, Hypno.
Yes.
Shout out.
I appreciate it. Yeah. One of the busiest, hardest working guys on YouTube today. So, and he deserves everything that he's getting. So,
Facts.
very strong facts. So yeah, getting forward to this. Now we get into the trial. Like I love this trial because Magneto, some of the dialogue that he has here is so freaking incredibly powerful. I was just like, wow, this is where Bo comes to the limelight.
I wish we wouldn't
Nerd
get
Wars.
hit. I wish we wouldn't get hit with a strike or a copyright or any of that stuff, because if you guys haven't seen this series, go check out this episode. Well, watch from episode 1, but check out this episode because there is some very, very good dialogue in this entire ending of this episode by Magneto. I mean, it's one of those things that makes you just, if you weren't before, you kind of really fall in love with his character, as in like, yeah, hell yeah. Like everything that happens in this episode or this scene specifically, you need to actually see it and hear it to witness it.
Someone put Nerd Wars back in his cage. Erwin, you get back. Don't make me get the hose.
Yeah. Shout out to Erwin. He'll be on here soon too. He'll be in here, I believe. I think you're here for the Batman Mask of Phantasm. Are you not?
Oh yeah, that's coming up.
Oh, is he here too? Good, because I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need my Erwin.
And gotta say hello to Moxie Dame. Thanks for joining. Hail the mighty Gooch. Yes, yeah, you're right. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, this is a great one of the best, I think, scenes in the throughout the series, this trial, and how they're trying to bury Magneto, and then he retorts back. And if you guys want to jump on in this, be my guest.
I want to say just quickly,
I was awestruck.
this episode did so much. Like, if you think about what was accomplished with this episode from beginning to end, with Morlocks all the way to this, and then the after effects of this, like, there was a lot that happened here.
Yeah.
This was a scene where one man kind of changed the opinions of everyone by his actions, both standing in front of the committee or whatever this is, and then also what he does later that we'll get to, that I'm not going to spoil if you guys haven't seen it in the chat.
The line gets me where he goes, "Everything I have done was in retaliation to what you have caused to mutants." I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I wrote that down too, Zach.
Well, he and the line, I think, who was it? You, Andrew, that mentioned you gave Monster a trial. Now you are traitors to your own kind. To play by the rules, and still they come for you.
It's almost Shakespearean.
It
100%. 100%.
This guy is modern day Shakespeare. He should have an S on his chest instead of an N.
No, I do agree on that, but it's also, this is a man that you have to understand, like, survived the Holocaust, is talking to the UN, which I would assume they did, similar with like the Nuremberg trials and everything like that, where he's done this song and dance before. They have, they have gone their own way, and the human government, the best way that I can describe them, like without mutants, it was like, this is the way to be noticed. This is the way that I'm going to actually try to make my case. And it was like, you see Magneto cry in this episode. And it was like, that is something that is so strong to me. And that is something that, like, is portrayed in such a wonderful way. I mean, I just can't praise about it enough. I told you guys before the show even started,
you love the Magneto voice actor.
No, but I'm saying, before that, I said this is an S tier episode. Like, I think, honestly, this is not only one of the best episodes of this series, this is one of the best episodes in any series.
This was the episode that got me, and specifically what happens in the next couple minutes. Like, I was just in awe of the scene coming up that we're going to touch on.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. His age.
The good line too. My people's homes were burned to ash because we dared to call God by another name.
And that's very similar to...
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to reread Trial of Magneto, but I mean, it's just even the way he conducts himself. I think, like, because he stands his ground in the comics, but I do think, like, one of the things, and I guess Magneto, it just wouldn't be in character for him to do it like he firmly does. He's trying to change. It's kind of interesting how his arc is similar but different. And I think one of the things, the advantages of not having Xavier there, is it forces him to be the one that has to change. Whereas in the comic, it's he helps Xavier escape. The trial isn't finished. And then he goes, I can't change because you have to. It's too late. And so because Magneto is on his own, he has to come to terms on his own. And I think it's like he's not quite ready to drop all of his old habits, because you see that he still stands by a lot of what he did, but you could see that he's like, okay, I'm willing to try.
What's in Beast's backpack?
I was going to say, like, what is he carrying around?
He doesn't have pockets, so
it looks like one of the Star Wars droids.
Oh yeah, it's like a Gonk droid.
Yeah, a couple things. This scene right here, that the perimeter is being breached by the protesters. They're rushing in, and they're actually coming into the headquarters. And the second part I want to say here, Beast has a booty. What happened to Cyclops here?
Yeah, he's kind of flat there. I gotta say, not a good
very.
It's been stolen from us, and I, for one, won't take it anymore.
We need the Cyclops.
It's just the angle.
Yeah, he's got very Napoleon Dynamite vibes going on here. Like, he's like got nothing going
squats,
on.
man.
Yeah,
I think Cyclops is more cardio oriented, and I think Beast, obviously from his power set,
that's how his visor used to work.
And that has
clench his ass cheeks and it would shoot the beam.
Beast is kind of presenting his ass a little bit more. Cyclops is just kind of in a standing position. Give him a break, look at a different angle. I'm sure you guys will be excited.
Yeah, it's just the
I don't know
angle.
if there's not even a
Just
crack
it's always just the angle.
The angle of the back.
I didn't bring it up earlier, but like when Rogue left Professor X's office when she was talking to Magneto earlier, Gambit saw her leave the room. He was around the corner, and
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't include that.
yeah. I didn't click on it. Now he sees this piece here too, where she's pausing. Well, he made a comment while they were watching the trial, and Rogue was concerned, and he saw that she was showing some emotion and concern for Magneto, and he could sense that there's something going on between the two.
Yep.
And then again, this shot right here where she's looking down at Magneto and he's looking, wow, that went a little too far. Again, too far. Right here, he's looking up at her, and and there's a lot of worry in her eyes, and he's just trying to keep composed. And so the X-Men are going off to take control of the perimeter. Then we flash over to Wolverine with Jean Grey, and then she says like she's in labor.
Before you get too far into the scene, can I just go back to the Magneto Rogue thing? I think it's really interesting throughout the series that you see they present Magneto with a genuine care for the character Rogue, not just like some kind of attraction, but like they kind of hint like genuinely like he's in love with her throughout the series. I think it really shows up in this scene, like you're saying, when they just have this moment when they're kind of just sharing that moment there before all hell breaks loose.
I think one question I just thought of, isn't it, because obviously this version is better and I'm fine with it, but like in the animated series, wasn't it like that Magneto's backstory wasn't the Holocaust, it was something else?
No,
watered down version.
They showed like there was a scene where like Xavier was like, Magneto, remember, and like he remembers, but all they showed was like tanks and stuff drive. It was like they showed that he had like a hard Scrabble existence, but it wasn't. They didn't specifically say it was the Holocaust.
Barcodes or lines up for anything.
They didn't show like gas chambers or anything like that.
Well, I know they never did.
Subtle.
Well, they talk in the book. They talk about his family being in prison.
Say what you want about Bryan Singer, but that opening to that original X-Men movie is a banger.
Absolutely.
The fence and
Oh my no, the fence. You mentioned the fence, but it was like his name in the comics I believe is like
Magnus. No, and then Max Eisenhart.
Max Eisenhart.
That's a little too on the nose. Yeah, come on.
Well, I know it was Magnus originally, then it was Eric
Magnus, Eric Lencher.
I like Eric Lencher. That's
I like Magnus the best.
But I would say probably in all that, what you wanted to show would be the scene where he, like you said in the movies, where he bends the fence. That's that by far that's the one that spoke to me.
Yeah.
So getting back to this, where we saw Wolverine rushing and driving like a maniac on the streets, and Jean Grey using her powers to clear people off the streets because he's like all over the place. Then we're getting to this scene right here where the protesters are entering, and the executioner enters, and they realize like he's got armor. He has like what do I have it written down here? His armor is laced with titanium alloy, which is resistant to a lot of executioners.
No, I said ooh, not who.
Oh,
ooh.
So he can take a lot, but still, I think the only person that can obviously take him out is Wolverine, who isn't there. Convenient. And then he uses this plasma cannon to fire upon the mutants and the X-Men, and takes out the Beast and Bishop, and then Cyclops gets owned here by the executioner.
By the way, I agree with Dempsey. Is that like that's how he looks in the comics? Because what's that? What's that?
No,
brother?
I
I
think
can
that's
go with
supposed
it looks like a
to
comic.
that's supposed to just show you like Executioner is also someone from the comics. This is just supposed to show you that he's formidable and whatever. At this point, look, Gooch has it stilled perfectly.
Oh, this is
Actual
cool.
Cyclops would have opened his eyes and actually just like
Right.
decimated this dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I disagree.
So
Disagree.
we see it in the first episode.
Why do you disagree, Gooch?
Okay.
Like,
Well,
We see in the
and
first episode he does it
Gooch.
to the people who are like a part of that gang that's selling and doing like illegal activity. These people are like felons. And this, if he opens his eyes, it could hit protesters
All the
outside that
protesters,
aren't
yeah.
affiliated with
okay.
action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying the
Yeah.
stream is not concentrated. Okay,
Yeah,
that's very
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, that's
If this room was closed and there wasn't like a giant hole in the wall, yeah,
Okay.
he can do it. But since there's like a hole in the wall, there's too many variables, there's people flooding in, he doesn't know
Yeah.
who he's gonna hit. I actually think this is a good moment for him, showing his restraint and care for civilians not getting hurt.
He should have swept the leg then. He knows martial arts too. They're training where he could have done a
Yeah,
spinny
you do it,
thing.
man.
You know, I want to. Oh wait, we'll get to it. But there was one thing I want to say before this. He says gene freaks. Not to keep saying that, but there's one of the few times because they'd see things like muties and whatever. The one time in the comics where it was like a mutie slur that I was like,
Please
oh,
mute us. Mute us.
it was no. I was gonna say was when they say in Genosha gene joke. When they're like, oh, you're a gene joke. I was like, oh, like that was so. I wish they said, but even still, Gene Freak was close. But I like that it was like you could tell this guy like genuinely hates mutants, and he's a very simple character. But even then, like I like that he had the assortments of weapons, and it showed that like he's a guy who's overcompensating for or compensating. I wouldn't even say over because he clearly needs all this to face mutants.
Oh
And then
yeah,
for
no, he
Magneto
did a
to just
little
in
speech.
seconds.
That speech where he's like, "It's the whining." I was like, I know there's people like that who like exist on things. What I was getting at is, I thought that was my thing. Is Cyclops could have just opened his eyes and ended that, but you're
I
right.
can see it both ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Dempsey. He should have had LASIK done by now. Seriously. So he's losing his goggles. Yeah,
It's true.
Contacts.
So yeah, well, Executioner. This is a different style used for him because he's dressed way differently in the comics. He's got actually a cooler costume.
It's his
in the comics.
FOH
Actually,
variant.
I'll Google it if you want to. I'll send it to
I
you.
like
if you
this
pull it up.
costume.
It's a cross of Talon from Batman with
Got a couple up there. Yeah, it's a little Talon-y, a little grifter because it's
A
got
little
the
sort of
green and the-
Azrael. If you read that book, there's a costume
yeah.
there.
Yeah?
Kind of
Oh, I
similar to
I like
that.
the mask. The mask is cool. The orange belt, it could go.
Yeah. So
Make it browner.
so
tone,
yes.
it's flashing with the red.
Just because you
That's
said
right.
Azrael,
Background.
just got that set up.
Oh, there you go.
there
Hell
you
yeah, I
go.
need to get that.
Let's see.
Oh, it's, there you
Here,
go.
let me.
I know.
just
There we go.
there.
I'm holding it still.
Ooh.
Yeah,
There you go.
There we go.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I was hoping I would have gotten the platinum one, which is the blue, but I digress. Looked very similar. Yeah. See where we got a lot of different styles of. Sure, the animator's like, don't put a bunch of extra shit that I have to draw. little, you know.
Some gratuitous Colossus action.
This is my Colossus tease. This is all we got.
Yes.
He looks good.
Yeah,
It looks
Nerd
great.
Boys loves when I bring out the comics and the costumes.
This is why
Here,
it's his
Nerd
most
Boys.
favorite
Here.
episode.
All right. let me
I
run to
love
my foot.
Colossus. I don't care. It's fucking rules.
If you got the comics, whip them out because I'll bring them up. But,
Oh.
and yeah, so getting to this, you obviously change. I call him changeling, but it's morph. Changes the Colossus and kind of helps take out Executioner. The cool thing is he does
Psylocke. Psylocke?
Yeah.
Psylocke, Deathstrike.
Deathstrike. Yeah, when I first saw Deathstrike pop,
Oh
I
yeah.
was like, what?
Yeah,
That's
Lady
Olivia
Deathstrike.
Moon played her.
yes, and then who did we just have? Colossus, and there was another character in there.
Within this scene,
Lady
I can't
Deathstrike,
remember.
Yes.
Psylocke, Colossus. That's it, I
Yes,
think.
that's
Just
that,
those
that,
three?
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
And
but I
the-
remember. I love that. Sorry.
this because when you think of Lady Deathstrike, you think of there's two types there. Like this is the
There
Death.
she is.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one I like.
Yeah.
There's the other style that is used where she's in the purple garb with the black hair.
I don't know if I know that one.
I don't know if I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
there's a movie version that wasn't very, costume
No,
accurate.
in the comics too, they had
Okay.
her like more of a, I think, green and purple, and she had like the black hair. This one, she has this garb on.
Yeah.
Morph. Bo DeMeo said that like this was his chance to use Morph to get all the cameos that people wanted, because everyone can
Also-
have the
Yes.
cameos, but you can get that character in cheating by using the Morph
Yeah.
character.
Also, Gooch,
Brilliant
I
idea.
sent you like the coolest executioner picture I can find on our Twitter chat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Um,
there it is. Yeah.
Like the circuitry. You can see the circuitry in it.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I do like that. You can see the circuitry in the eye.
Yeah.
Jean Grey reaches out to Scott to let him know that she's in labor, and Scott pretty much ditches the team and to go be with Jean. And Storm tells Rogue to fly Cyclops to the hospital. So there's two X-Men leaving after they're getting their asses handed by execution, which is smart because you're in the middle of a protest. But
Also, there's only they say, hey, just take them. By the way, there's 2 Omega level mutants here.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. It's NBD. like with everything going according to plan, Storm and Magneto should be able to handle this without question. It's only what happens later.
It seems like Magneto, if he wanted to, is like another level of Omega. He could just do whatever he wanted with the core of the Earth because it's all metal. And he could just crush
Badger,
I know he wanted.
Badger, I know
Yes.
you're not
No.
acquainted with the comic books.
No, not on.
You've watched the entire series, right?
Yes, so I'm aware.
Okay,
I can gather.
like
what
he didn't do that. So yeah.
Magneto was one of the most badass characters in this series.
Yeah,
with some of the stuff he did that he pulled off.
He should be.
Yeah.
Right, Joe? Like
absolutely. I was great, and I've said this before, not to sidetrack too much from what we're looking at, because I know we're trying to get through this episode, but they did a great job of actually living up to some of these characters' powers that have been kind of depowered in the original animated series.
Yes,
and maybe depowered in the movies. You got
for sure the movies.
Yeah, like that's what made this show so great, because you're like, like these are the X-Men that you're used to thinking about and seeing.
Love Anna Paquin, but I wanted full Cajun accent,
right?
And this bodysuit, and the flying, and the
I agree. So this is this moment where Scott asks Rogue to use her powers to grab the intelligence and the medical knowledge that could possibly give birth for Jean Grey to have a child. So she does it. The protesters approach, and we get Magneto using his powers with Storm, containing the protesters.
Giant swords.
Yes.
In the sky.
Oh, I love that look.
And that's something that he chose to form.
Batman entrance.
No, but I'm saying it's like there weren't giant swords there. He formed those into like giant swords. Like he's making a statement here. And
is that a religious theme with the swords? Like,
I took it more as like it's a statement. Like it was like I can kill you anytime that I want. Like what's one of the most like symbols of violence would be a sword. So I surround you with swords, and then I had my constituent set those swords on fire and make or not on fire, with lightning and make a cage. Like, how much more intimidated do you need to be
Yeah, he thinks he's a god. It's very biblical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even though there's, I can't
Wrath.
depict like an exact biblical reference. There's
It's
biblical
primeval.
imagery
It's
for sure.
it would scare anyone in a
Yes.
he knows what he's doing.
Exactly. I was like, if you could make frogs rain down on the Brotherhood, he would.
It's the archetype, the forest or with the whatever, and this the lightning. It's very
it's very Old Testament plague like.
Yeah,
that's what we're going
Sword of
for.
Damocles. Yeah.
But
we're all smart. We're all smart.
So,
yes,
we got it. We're all smart, but it's also what I thought was best is he did that in front of him, and you know how powerful he is.
Yeah.
If I could kill you anytime I want, but I'm showing you how powerful I am because he's making a statement. This whole thing is all about imagery and a statement, and that's what he's doing because he knows the entire UN is behind him.
He's watching, and he's knowing that
it's pageantry, really.
Yeah,
and that's who Magneto is.
Theatricality.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Executioner is taking a shot, and he has Magneto in his sights, and he fires, and Storm jumps in front and takes the shot.
Why do you think she did that? Do you think she really thought? Let me ask. But do you think she really thought he was trying to redemption? Do you think she did it just out of like, hey, he's on the team, I'm doing it because he's on the team? Do you think she did it because she was upholding Professor Xavier's wish, or do you think it's all of those things?
I think it's all those things. It's like it's just her character.
I
think she would sacrifice
Aurora
herself
was
for
a
the
hero.
Team. Yep.
I think it's so they set it up earlier in the episode when Magneto's talking in the team room with the other X-Men, and he specifically points out Storm, and he's like, "You are a goddess." He puts Storm
So
on
gave her a
another level of
compliment.
respect.
Yep, you're right. Good point. Great.
They
for him.
Like
she says,
and
I've always liked Storm. She's the best about the X-Men.
you really did pull that. And Storm
never had bad weather at Mar-a-Lago.
Because Magneto, he respects true power. Like in other characters that are Omega level or whatever, he respects that. He sees that, and it's almost like you even saw him touch a little bit in the movies about it with the Fassbender version, where he's always trying to be like, be you're better than them, be better than them, embrace who you are, and he sees that in Storm, and I think maybe there was a little bit of a connection there, a little bit of shared respect, but I think Storm is just like you said, she's a hero. She's gonna give her life for her teammates. It's her cause. It's just within her character. So for her to jump in front of a bullet for somebody made a lot of sense.
I agree, Joe. It could have been Joe Schmo.
Badger, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that thought when he's basically always trying to say, remember, you're a god amongst men. Like, it's always the undercurrent. He wants them to be their best. And just remember, even though you're playing nice, that if you wanted to,
you could kill a lot of people if you wanted to. You could be cool, but only if you wanted to.
I got a nice parallel here, actually. It's funny because Rogue was being chased down for her crimes in this moment, and Storm jumped in the way to save this other reformed criminal turned X-Men. That's how it happened. So I think it's the same thematic beats echoed with a different character in a different event, which I think is really
Vaughn, I truly think it could have been Joe Schmo. It could have been any other. It could have been some just dude in the crowd, and Storm would have done it.
But I think the thematic purpose that she'd do it for someone who wronged her in the past. Because Magneto messed up Storm. Remember that one episode? I still think it's so funny when like Storm gets hit by, maybe it wasn't Magneto, but just like a bunch of debris, and the first thing they say is she's claustrophobic. It's like, what about like the fact that she might have gotten crushed?
Should die of being claustrophobic.
Either way, Aurora made the hard play, and that's another thing. I think Bo touched on it last time he was on the show. When he was on the show, where these people have done this over and over and over again, like in the Danger Room, they're more like a football team. She just reacted And it was like, and also she had no idea that this gun was going to have the repercussions that it
Right.
did. So, a hero, and like I said, I like nothing more about this because this is to the essence, and we'll get to it more as the series goes along. Storm, at the end of the day, is one of the best characters in the show. And yes, it didn't matter if it was Magneto, it didn't matter if it was Mojo. Like she was jumping in front of that
Mojo.
blast.
I gotta bounce
ahead,
at
Joe.
midnight, guys. If there's
Turn
if
into
we
a
can
pumpkin?
get to the last scene
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get
and really
there.
talk about that.
Yeah, I just want to get like I'm going to skip forward here a little bit. So we get to like Magneto. Storm takes the shot. Magneto's pissed. He takes out Executioner, bounces up and down a couple of times, and starts speaking to the judges. And he makes a comment of, all the X-Men have done is use their awesome power to protect the world that hates and fears them. Behold their reward. And he's a powerful line as she's like, struggling, and he has no power. And so this is where it gets really good, where Magneto is enraged, and he actually lifts everything up into orbit, and perfect
There's
Yeah.
the shot.
the tears
Before he
rolling down
goes
his
up,
face.
Yes. He says, "I say as I have many times before, never again."
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Incredible lines in this series, or in this episode. Like, just like there's so many. And then this part, as he's hovering over, he just goes bigot, ingrate, sycophant, worm, so small I could smite you with a step.
Yeah.
There was a time I would smite you all there's a time I would smite you all for what was done to Storm. Like, he's enraged, but he has the words of Xavier in his head.
Yeah.
But today I have saved you from your own.
Yeah.
Started off like a Paul Tassi article talking about Acolyte fans.
Like I said, I didn't catch bigot in this.
No, he says
I
it.
caught rage.
He does right off the bat.
Yeah.
He calls out, the
I would argue by design.
Look at this. This is perfect. He could step on him right now.
Yeah. And he's hovering above him.
Yeah.
So small I could smite
Which,
you.
by the way, he hovers above him for Xavier's beliefs, but he hovers above him because his beliefs as well. He believes that he is above humans.
Well, they sort of are, in that they're literally, they have special powers. They're a different.
It's very hard to argue that human beings are on the same.
Don't they call them like Homo superior?
Homo
sapien and Homo superior?
But you know what Magneto calls them is
I think Bastion does.
Magneto calls them sapiens.
Okay.
Josh sends me $1.99 special. I like that, or I'll make you a Jew cry.
Tiny.
Wow,
Ryan
thanks,
Roger
Josh.
Thay.
Appreciate that. For the $1.09. Thanks you, Josh.
This scene was so incredible. For, again, go back and watch if you guys haven't yet, and just watch it for the score and really listen to the dramatic emotion that is put into this scene. And when Bo DeMaio was on a couple weeks back, that was something I brought up. I was like, this show hit completely different because of the score behind it gave a sense of drama and dramatic. Like, I was watching this scene, and because my mind is kind of now trained with all the other shows, all the shock shows out there, like The Boys or whatnot, my mind was trained of like something gonna happen, so it got me. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, what is he gonna do with these people? Their breath is starting to show because they're so far up in the atmosphere, things are getting cold. He's going on this awesome monologue, the music is just pulling you right in. It is such a brilliant scene that, again, this scene right here locked me in for the rest of the series.
You know what?
And then we just kept getting better and better as it went.
The Dark Knight on the prison. You expect you expect Tiny Lester, may he rest in peace. When you expect him, everyone thinks he's gonna, and instead he throws it out the. It's very much a very similar.
That's a good comparison.
I saw what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good comparison.
I think it's the fact that
I didn't think of it until
one
just
of the
now.
reasons I like it is that it could have been basically a YouTube apology video. Hey guys, sorry I did all those crimes. Magneto.
Is it
But
hot in
instead
there?
he's
Sorry, we just like
I'm
hug
not
or something?
sorry, but I'm willing to. And it's like not a perfect, but that's what the trial of Magneto always was. It wasn't a perfect. I'm so sick of these like perfect redemption arcs.
Yeah.
It's not what Magneto. Magneto's not going to just totally be like, you know what, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm
You guys
sorry.
are jerk offs.
And
You kind
I'm-
of deserved it.
I'm
but-
so sick also of they had this bad guy had a traumatic character. Magneto can be argued that he's not a bad guy every single
Well,
time.
yeah.
Stan Lee himself said,
Right.
like, I don't think Magneto's a bad guy. Magneto is the other side of the
Did Stan
coin of
Lee
Charles
say that?
Xavier. He's the militant side of the peaceful agreement. Like there's no if, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
He cares about mutants because he grew up in a world that was persecuted and systematically killed. He saw that as a child.
And what
There's
people forget.
no yes, and people forget.
Well, I was
You're
going to say
exactly
people
right, Vaughn.
forget what people forget on top of that is it's not just that, it's a repetition throughout his life. So Claremont has that other backup story in Classic X-Men where he has a daughter, if you remember that. So he goes to escape the Nazis to the Soviets. The Soviets burn his daughter alive. And
Yes.
realize it's the same pattern everywhere I go.
Oh my god. And by the
Why?
way, when he blows those people up for letting his
And his
daughter
wife
die,
leaves.
like I said, you put this on, they will never forget again. Like
Yeah.
that's his mentality. That is the type of person you're dealing with, and that is someone who's so dangerous. And now they don't know what to deal with because he is speaking on behalf of the other side, but he lets everybody know that at any point in time he can do what he does in
That was a
this
major
series.
flex. You know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
like
Thank
that's
you,
that's
Joe.
what was so cool about it. Like he was just, he
All
completely
of this-
showed them. You know, he threw it down on the table. You know,
and
pumped,
and you
and
know
then
the thing
pulled
that
it
I
back.
love the most about that part about the flex is that their breath was showing up how cold it is in
Yes.
space.
Yeah.
How I was like, this is how powerful this man is. At any point in time, he can change the polarity of the planet.
Okay, so getting back to this, we
Sorry.
got the birth of Nathan Summers. So
Yep.
as like Magneto's doing his speech and talking about, you know, being able to restrain himself from like killing them all and wiping them off the planet, but trying to be a perfect person. And like you guys mentioned, like what's he say there? Like, don't let me be
Don't make me
me
let
let
you
you
down.
down.
Make me let you down.
yeah.
Do not make me let you down.
Yeah. So then it bounces back, like it was bouncing back and forth throughout the episode, which makes it really intense. So you're seeing possibly a death, and you're seeing a birth at the same time. We didn't see death. Like Magneto could have killed them all, but now you're seeing the birth of Nathan Summers here. And obviously you see Wolverine in the background, you know, a little emotional and upset because Jean Grey and Scott are having a moment, and he leaves the room. Then we see the news cast and talks about how Genosha is going to be part of the UN nations moving forward, and Scott offers Magneto some coffee, and you know, a little joke about, is it poison, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, just
but
a little
that was great.
respect there. Yeah,
Yep.
it is. So then we got Beast
Oh,
working
this
on
moment.
this moment here where Beast is trying to figure out what's going on with Storm, and saying that, you know, the genes that are affected in her system, they don't know if it's going to be permanent or if it's you know, just temporarily neutralized. So he just says he thinks it's permanent, and so Storm's upset, and oh, right there, he mentions it. Okay, perfect. And then he says its effects appear to be permanent. And so Storm is packing up and leaves a letter for Jean. And
it's like a parallel, like she has to take her own advice to Jean almost.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, the team, we see Rogue and Magneto have a moment here, a very, you know, loving moment with each other.
Yep.
And like she hasn't touched someone for so long, like she's just embracing it, like it's
I know the feeling, sister.
This part here, Morph sees Wolverine obviously suffering because he's in love with Jean Grey.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see
He's
him
taking Nightcrawler's spotlight.
Yeah,
that's the
because
trick
it's
is
in the books.
Well, he is very much Nightcrawler's character in this,
and he turns into Sabretooth, and they have a little tussle. And right here,
again seems like a joke in poor taste. Ha ha ha! I'm transforming into the guy that killed your girlfriend.
I know.
This is the part where I just want to quickly finish this joke. I'll leave. This is the part where Gambit sees. Sorry, this is the part where he sees Rogue leave the office of Professor X that Magneto's in, and he
drops the Queen.
Yeah, the Queen,
which represents Rogue to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a powerful scene. Another powerful scene. Like, you just get the close up of his eyes, and you just kind of see that the anger or heartbreak or just whatever it is that he's going through. Like it was setting up some great stuff going forward. Like the setup of these episodes per episode, just leading you forward, is so good.
Yeah, really good. We got a super chat here from Hosty. Magneto in the comics have become what I sought to combat. Magneto in 97, genocide time. Woo woo. Let's fucking go. Thanks, Hosty, for the $4.99.
I hope that's looking
appreciate that, brother. Yeah. Thanks, Hosty. I appreciate that, brother. And then we see Aurora getting on the bus, and she's now just a human and leaving the team. And upset, and then the team's all together in the I guess the main foyer or the main entrance area, living area.
That Magneto's costume is so fucking cool.
Yeah, and he's got the cape.
Dude, and he looks like a vampire. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And then they're all upset because like Aurora's gone, and then Morph is like just trying to be cool and cut the tension, and then the doorbell rings, and he thinks it's Jean Grey, and he thinks it's Aurora, and it's Jean Grey.
Yeah,
another Jean Grey.
Great episode.
This scene right here, or this shot where you focus on Scott with his reaction, and he looks down at Nathan, and then the focus goes right to what would be Madeline Pryor now over his shoulder, and just shows her reaction. Like it's very good like cinematography directing for a scene like this. Yeah, there you go. It just goes out of focus one or the other.
Rack focus is nice.
Yep.
I think one thing I also want to point, because Christopher, if you remember, it's Nathan Christopher Charles Summers in the comics, because his two dads, so his other dad, Christopher Corsair, was the other, but correct me if I'm wrong, they never revealed that in the series, right? So does that mean his name? There's not going to be. Is he going to be missing one of his two middle names?
Who cares about the middle names?
They have significance.
Anyway, like I said, I didn't read the comics, so I didn't know what the hell this was. Because then,
we don't read. Why would we do that?
Does that mean that the clone is actually, or So it's an interesting little conundrum. What do you do now?
Yeah, I love
Sammy, you're muted. Sammy, you're muted.
Well,
Sammy, you're muted. Sammy, you're muted.
Sorry, I was doing that for you. There's very significant offspring from Scott Summers and Jean Grey, and it goes different ways from the comics. So yes, this is the way that they're going in this. So you can go Nathan Grey. It's like you can go a bunch of different ways. It has gone different ways, different iterations, different fucking timelines. Even that's what it is. So this is what they're going with.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that.
I just want to. Joe's got to leave, so I just want Joe. Just get your general thoughts of the episode. If you want to rate it, go ahead, and then just promote what you got going on there, brother.
Yeah, general thoughts all around. I thought it was a great episode coming off of last week's. I can't remember what I gave last week's. It was still a good episode, but it was it left me wanting. And then this episode brought me back and it gave me everything that I hoped that I was going to be getting with the series. So, like, this episode to me, especially because of the ending, and a lot of these episodes, their endings were so powerful. I'm going to throw a 9 out of 10 out of this because the ending to me was so powerful and it had such an emotional response on me that it really hooked me for the entire show. And I've watched that end scene or just that Magneto scene a couple times now, just watching it over and over again and just kind of getting lost in the whole dramatic aspect of it. So yeah, 9 out of 10, I would say. And this really kind of sparks going forward what the tone of the show is going to be. And then it tops it as we go. So I'm excited to jump into the next episode.
Awesome.
Oh, and as far as you can follow me on Joe M. Sontag on YouTube, Joe M. Sontag 1 on X. I've got a show on Mondays. Jay's on the show with me called The Spawn Review at 9 p.m. And then we got a show right after that called Appreciating Comic Book Art Live, where we look at comic books and we shoot the shit. Thursday nights, I got a show called Art and Stuff with my co-host Sean Arendt. Come over to the channel. It's all about comic book talk. We try to have fun guests. We look at awesome art, talk about the characters we love. Fun channel over there. Pretty much drama free. So check it out. Follow me. Appreciate it. I have a book called Reaper Destroyer.
I'll bring it up and I'll promote it.
Appreciate it, brother. Check that out. We were getting very, very close to print. So appreciate you guys. The panel, as always, you guys are awesome. Sorry I have to dip early, but I got work in the morning. So chat. I love you guys. Fun show. I'll see you all next week.
Thanks, brother.
Peace,
Have a
guys.
good night, bro.
See ya.
All right, Jay, I finished the drawing.
Yeah. Okay. How do we want to do this? Do you want to show it now, or do we want to rate the episode and give our general thoughts? I did send the link to Bo DeMille. He didn't show up obviously tonight, so maybe next week, because I know he said he wanted to come on for these episodes. So, man, the guy's busy, so I'm not gonna push it. So, what do you guys' general thoughts? I don't mind waiting. Josh for $1.99. When do the lesbian witches introduce the thread? Oh my God! Thanks, Josh.
Don't worry, that's season 3. Don't worry.
Yeah. The power of many.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! I don't want to hear it.
So, well, let's see what you did tonight, Zach. I think everyone's anticipating what you got there. We have a huge audience right now, so.
How many people are watching right now?
We have 132 people watching right now. So
all right, 132 people. Check it out.
Ah,
wow.
Yeah.
It's the camera quality. What I'm getting. What I'm seeing is really cool. So.
Yeah. Your camera does not do your drawing and your art justice at all.
Yeah. You're gonna have to post it, but everyone follow Zack so you can see it.
Yeah,
I can still tell it's you did so much in that amount of time. That's amazing. Like
that, yeah, that is kind of.
I can't believe
That's
that.
crazy. Yeah, you draw fast, dude.
The Sentinels in all black is such a statement.
Oh man.
I'll go ahead and scan it. I'll send it right off to you guys.
Yeah.
Like I can't say enough for how talented you are. Really, honestly, that's insane.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, everyone that's watching right now, Zach and I have a few things coming down the pipeline. First of all, July 6th, we're going to have a auction for all the artwork that Zack has done for all these series. So every episode, there's probably 40 plus, probably closer to 50 by the time we get to July 6th. So save your money. You're going to buy one of these pieces. They're incredible. So, swing by, check that out. And we have something else planned down the road. So I'm not going to say anything yet, but there's some secrets happening. Badger, general thoughts on tonight's episode, bro. And if you want to rate it, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, this episode still hadn't sold me. I think it was the third episode, oddly enough, that was like, okay, yeah. But yeah, we can get that next week. But yeah, no, I definitely liked it. The ending is great. I think overall, and I'm going to say room to go up. I'm going to say 7 out of 10 for me personally.
Nice. Zaxx?
Yeah, so for me, this one, the first episode I gave I think I gave a 5, about average. And this one, I loved for like personal reasons to an extent, because of the Morlock stuff, the Massacre series. That was sort of that got me into comics and X-Men, and I loved that series. I actually found some of those books that I've gotten. They're in heavily read shape. So it's just seeing the Morlocks and having them just touch on that story, even though it wasn't the Massacre, just like it hooks me personally right away. And then so much happened after that, and I love what they've done with the Magneto, and I give this episode a 9. But that's
Okay.
I don't know if that's quality, but that's for me. It hits that.
Yeah.
It hit everything, and I could not believe by then how much they done story wise in that one episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they used a lot of material from 3 books. Vaughn, your general
Yeah,
thoughts?
man. Here's the thing. I just finished the episode, so it's not like it's had time to sit. But I will say the fact that I haven't even gotten to all my thoughts on this, it says something, right? It's a testament to how much happened. That we've had 2 hours, and I'm still like, there's more I want to talk about. That's something. But I will say, and obviously, I'm always looking at the comics and going, "Oh, this is cool." But the fact that there's so many parallels, and you can see they're coming from all of them, is just so interesting. I think that the character arcs are really great. I want to watch it again, which is a testament to the quality of the episode. Out of 10, I'm gonna give it like a 7 or 8. I don't know, an 8, I'll say. But it's hard to give a rating right now because it's so fresh in my mind.
Mm-hmm. I think the more times you watch it, the more you want to rate it higher.
Yeah,
Because
all right, that's true.
yeah.
Because right now I'm
and-
like, oh, is Cyclops leaving in the middle of a battle and character? Like I'm thinking of little things like that. But I also
Mhm.
think that there's a lot of little things that are gonna add up. I'm thinking like what sticks out to me are like the things that I'm like questioning. But ultimately, it's such a good episode, man.
Yeah, there is a lot of Andrew.
Yeah, it's one of the best episodes of the show. It is tied right now with episode 5 as my favorite / what I think is the best. I think I'm confident in saying that it's my favorite. I don't know if it's better than 5 yet. They're pretty neck and neck. But everything about this episode completely sold me on Magneto. When I started this episode and saw that it was a trial, I was a little nervous about what they were going to do with the trial. I didn't know if they were going to go full redemption for Magneto, because Magneto is a villain that doesn't get a redemption. He's not that type of villain.
Mm-hmm.
But what he is a villain who understands his place in everything, and especially he understands it at the end of this episode, when he says while he's speaking, and he says what he could do, and then he stops himself and says, Charles Xavier entrusted me with his dream. So he's coming at this not to be himself, but he has to do this for Xavier and for his dream. And because he has gained the trust of other X-Men involved, he gained the trust of Storm, who sacrificed her powers / her life to help him and save him. So he's not just doing this in this moment for himself, he's doing it for the betterment of his kind. And that's emphasized by the fact that there's that cutaway between the trial and the birth. So he's like doing it for the future of his kind. And it's just, it is like, it is good storytelling. And when Bo told me that he fought with the studio about having that cutaway, I don't understand why you would cut that out. It's so important.
Yeah.
But I'd say probably I want to mention one thing. Hostman says Storm sacrificing herself is dumb. No, it's not. Number one, you said what if she blowed blow them away. Number one, that would affect civilians. There's a bunch of lightning going around.
Yes.
That would endanger the civilians. Storm doesn't want to do that. Number two, she is closer to Magneto than she is this guy who has a trained gun on him. So she is faster if she goes and just hits Magneto. So there, I just want to put that out of the way. It's not done. It makes sense for the character to do that. Case closed. Not a good argument. 9 out of 10. Goodbye.
Yes, I totally agree.
My only gripe is that I think it's a little bit of an oversight for Beast not to have a hospital area prepared for
The baby, yeah.
for the baby.
Yeah.
I feel like Beast, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, they all these medical.
No, actually, you brought that up. That baby was totally capable of being birthed at the X Mansion.
I will say, I think that it's
a place set up
interesting,
for it.
the mutant birth problem. Like, even though it's like supposed to be an example of like discrimination, whatever, and it is, it's like, man, I never thought about that. Because like, what if the baby comes out and you're like, what the hell is this anatomy? Like, imagine you're like giving birth, you're a normal doctor, and like Nightcrawler pops. You're like, I like dupe. You'd be like, I don't know. Like, how do I? So that's interesting.
The tail first.
The doctor definitely was an ass for just not letting them in because she's in labor. Like, it's already happening, dude. It's gonna happen on the floor whether you like it or not. You best just
Like, what if it, like the coochie opens up and it's Cyclops' optic blast immediately kills the doctor?
That would be crazy. But yeah, 9 out of 10. Very minor gripes for me. Overall, just really good written themes in the episode and written characters in the episode. The only things that fall apart are some oversights in how the X-Men operate.
I just want to say a quick shout out to Star Wars Marvel Purist. Great panel. Sub to everyone. I'm assuming if I wasn't already, sub to. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm sure everyone here appreciates that a ton as well.
This is the best Magneto costume. Case closed. I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Does it? Okay, I'll when I.
Dude, it's so good. He looks like a vampire.
Yeah, I'm gonna save it.
Cool.
Sammy, your general thoughts. I'm gonna save because I got Zaxx's picture up and ready too. So
fantastic episode. I think it's one of the strongest, if not strongest, episodes. I said before, even watching the original 97 series, I think this is one of the most strong episodes you can possibly have. It brings up so many different things from the comics, and there's so many parallels in real life that you can bring to this episode, and that's one of the things that you can realize that it's true art because it reflects the world that we live in. I'm going to reject everything that my previous panelist just said about Magneto's costume.
What? So cool.
Disavow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I really love your opinions. I disagree with you on this one. He looks like he's doing a drag show at a bowling alley, and the guy can shift the polarity of Earth if he so desires. With his big long gloves, I don't like it. What I can also say is one of the things that I love most about this show is they're taking, whether they do it in the right timeline or not, or I don't mean timeline because in Marvel a timeline means whether they're doing it
in the continuity.
Yeah, like chronologically, is that a word?
Chronologically.
Chronologically, that's a better word. That's a real word.
I know words.
If they're doing that with the comics, they're not only doing that, they're doing that and they're covering so much ground where sometimes you're seeing things from 2 or 3 different like actual like runs in the comics, like combined and turned into something new. I'm more on board with that than I'm on board, and you can ask Gooch, you can ask anyone who talks to me. I'm very much all about the source material, and I want you to at least honor that. If you're gonna take something and combine 2 or 3 different timelines and make it into something your own, I'm all for it, because simply it's something I haven't seen before, and that's what entertainment's all about. So I'm really there for X-Men 97. Like
Yeah.
you have shown me things that I haven't seen. You plucked this in, you took this here. It's in my face. I'm glad that it's in my face. Like, thank God. Like, Executioner was one in this episode per se. I was like, oh my God.
Well, let's get to Zaxx or Zack. You there, Zack?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up the photo so everyone can see it better.
In HD.
Yeah. So this is the image that Zack did tonight.
In Minecraft.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's awesome.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, this out this episode was really good. Honestly, like you guys say that episode 2 is really what dug you in. Honestly, the first episode is what really hooked me in. Um, I just thought, just bringing the show like that back and kind of just doing different.
Oh,
Oh, is
we
he gone?
lost. Yeah, we lost him.
No, he's coming back a little
Nope,
bit. Hold on.
He's back. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. So, no, I was saying that like episode 1 was what really hooked me in, and I mean episode 2 just ramped it up tenfold. And if I had to rate this episode, I mean, yeah, it's probably the best episode of this season. And honestly, I don't know, man. Like, dude, I mean, and we're gonna find out with these next episodes because it just keeps cooking more and more with all the Easter eggs, cameos, storylines that they're touching upon. I was just blown away throughout the whole thing, and I'm honestly like, just when I think that, when I get superhero fatigued from bullshit, that I'm like, yeah, this is probably just another one of those things that they're just, throwing out there. And then, somebody tells me to watch it, and then I see it and it's like, holy hell, this is really good. It makes me want to pick up an X-Men comic, which is what you want people to do. If you're a business and you have comics and whatnot, you create an animation show on that stuff. You want to do it in a way where you want people to get excited to go and pick up the source material. And this show does it so perfectly. So it's a 10 out of 10.
It's so good, man.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
And thanks, Zack. Zack did all this within like the 2 hours here. This was a longer episode. I didn't expect to go this long tonight.
Neither did I.
And
But
it's my back is killing me. Badger, where can we find you? Just quickly promote yourself. You're killing it lately. You're on all these streams, and
yeah, I know you link to the channels. So yeah, you find me on all the socials. Really just Twitter and here. The Angry Badger 3 at on both places. And yeah, 2 videos a day. And we post with plenty of notifications about live streams. Hopefully Tuesday night's main event, not always going to be switching times on us.
Yeah, no kidding. Zaxx, I know you got a show tomorrow night. What do you got going on there, brother?
Tomorrow night we got Cameron Pasha on What's Good Wednesday, 9 o'clock Central, and we're going to talk about well, we'll probably get into some of the Star Wars news, whatever. Like, I want to talk about that for like only as much as I absolutely have to, and then move on to talking some weird stuff. It'll be What's Weird Wednesday, and supernatural stuff, some ghost stories, things like that. It'll be fun.
Nice. Vaughn, anything you got going on?
Oh, tons. I was writing a list, so I just got back from Heroes Con, so I have a lot to do. I'm going to be tabling with Zack here at Garden State Comic Fest. So I'm like, oh my God, I don't have time for anything. And that's why I wasn't sure if I could come on. But I was like, you know what? I deserve this. So this has been great. But make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Vaughn Coleman. And make sure you go to RebelOasisStudios.com. I'm just going to make that the easiest way. You can also just put the link directly to my campaign, where you can find the sign-up list for my Kickstarter. And you could also find my comic book, Phenomenova, which is funding now. The interior pages, like the interior black and white art, is completely done. The book I'm hoping to have it to the printer this summer, and then get it in your hands as soon as possible, but in as good condition as possible. So if you like X-Men, if you like this kind of superhero story, you're going to love Phenomenova. It's a love letter to the genre. Chris Claremont's X-Men run is what inspired me to write it. So should I pull up my page and show it real quick?
Well, I'll just put in the links.
That's what I think. I'm using my last burst of energy before I pass out to just pitch it.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Was Sammy sleeping again?
Yes, he's sleeping again.
Please bring him back.
That was so really someone else fell asleep and not Zack. Nice.
It's hard. It's hard being a professional streamer.
Yeah, I guess so.
I knew
what's
Sammy
up,
was drunk.
Thanks
He
for
was
joining us,
dumb.
Gooch.
No, he's just sleepy. He's just very sleepy.
Yeah, he's snoring away there. So and Zack, well, we know where you're going to be. You're going to be on here tomorrow night and Thursday night on Diabolical Souls.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
sorry, I had to delay it. I will be streaming tomorrow at the normal Badgercast time at 3:00.
Nice.
No matter who's streaming.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out for some good advice I got. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just gonna power through next time.
Yeah, I was looking forward to watching your show earlier today.
Yeah, well, there you go. Mistakes learned, or lessons learned.
A huge shout out to these guys. I appreciate these guys a ton. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, you guys. We went a little long tonight. Again, I did send Bo the link, so like he did say that he's going to try to make it on. Like the guy, I'm sure he's busy. Like for him to come on my little Wii channel, you never know when he's going to pop on. As for me, come join tomorrow night. We're going to be doing Ghost in the Shell tomorrow night at 8:00 Eastern. And then Thursday night we continue to the movies.
Yeah, I'll have to come on for some of them.
Absolutely. I'll send you a list. And then Thursday night we're going to do Demon Slayer episode 3, 10:00 Eastern. So come by and check that out. And again, thank you to the chat. Thank you to everyone with the super chats, all of you. I appreciate all of you. It was very kind of you. And again, everyone watching this channel, you guys, for the support and showing me the love, I appreciate it a ton. And I got a lot more planned for throughout the summer months. I'll be off. I'm off for a week, so let's see how much my back can do here. But I want to say thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Everyone, take care. See you soon. Ciao.
Goodbye.